Sheila Singam, the founder and managing partner of Human Equations Sendirian Berhad. So, for the first in the series of 7 Minutes with Sheila Singam, we've got Leela Barrock, the founder and principal of Leela Barrock and Associates. Thank you, Leela, for being here with us for the first of these interviews. So, Leela, the first thing is tell us a little bit about yourself and your career path.
Okay, I'm a lawyer by training, and I was called to the bar in 1992. I was going to say 2002, and realized that that's not right. 1992, but I read in chambers for a year, and then decided to leave the profession. I think I'd have made a terrible lawyer, but became a journalist and remained a journalist for 14 years. And it was probably the most fulfilling part of my career. Then I decided to go corporate. So joined Sime Darby, which doesn't exist in the form that it existed then because it was a conglomerate. And I was the group head of communication. So that was for 10 years. Mm-hmm. And then I left and set up my own consultancy in 2018. And that's what I do now. So I do strategic communications, crisis communications as well.
What an eclectic career path, yeah? But I suppose all those experiences come to bear into what you're doing now. So Leela, yours is basically a services-based industry, yeah? Requiring your expertise. How has this lockdown impacted your business?
Okay, if anything, it's odd. It's made me busier than I ever was. It's a less efficient way of working. In communications, and again, at my age, we've been doing this a long time. We tend to do a lot of face-to-face communications, and you get a feel of what people are saying and a feel of the environment, and you pull everything together, and then you get your messages out. We can't do that anymore. It's all remote. And as gorgeous and wonderful as you look today, it just does not have the same feeling as having you in front of me. We share a glass of wine and a chat, and we can lean over and prod each other, and that face-to-face relationship is missing. So it's made me busier. I find myself a little bit more isolated when I'm trying to craft a message and I'm trying to think through a problem, or there's a crisis that a client is going through. I feel like I'm doing it on my own with less input from the people who would normally have supported any such exercise. So those are the negative parts. But the good part is I get to work at my own pace without interruption. And in a way, that's made me faster because I write. And I can write now without, the constant views and interruptions of people. And I produce a completed piece of work, and then it goes out. So that part of it is actually faster. Yes, it's different, very different.
It is, isn't it? There are lots of industries out there sort of come to a complete shutdown, and they're not able to go ahead with projects. They're not able to bring in new projects. But I suppose you already have your clients and so on. So how does business continuity happen for you?
I think the most important thing that I did before the lockdown, before the MCO was actually announced, was I learned how to use Zoom. And then there was all this stuff around Zoom's not safe. But by then, when you have tried once to do something new, it's so much easier to do new things again. So then there was WebEx and all sorts of other platforms that I suddenly become very good at. I mean, these were things that other people did for me. I just sort of turned up and sat down and said, "Is everything okay?" And then I would start talking. Now I have to do it myself. So I've had a very steep learning curve, not a curve, a straight line to the top. And the people in my domestic environment are my 82-year-old mother and a special needs son. So there's no way that anyone's going to help me with this. I do it myself. So getting the technology up and running was very important. And then staying in touch with clients to know what they want. So I've got a client who had a rather large week last week. And so I was in touch with them constantly every day, different teams within the organization. The main two things, if there were two takeaways, it is get the technology up and running, learn how to use it quickly, and stay in touch. Stay in touch with your clients. They appreciate it, and it's amazing the number of things that are going on with them. Because as you rightly pointed out, the industries that are badly affected, they have to get ready for when things open up. How is it going to open up? How do I get back out there? It's going to be a bumpy road, but my job is to help to make sure that people know that they are out there and working and getting their products back out into the market. So yeah.
Okay. Another thing is it's a new way of doing business. And what you said earlier was that, of course, you prefer the face to face, but this is something that needs must, So, would you look moving forward after lockdown, after MCO, when, perhaps we come up with a vaccine and it becomes safe to interact again? Would you go back to the old way of doing things? Would you blend this new ways? How is it going to change the way you do business in the future?
Definitely, I would recommend going with a hybrid. Yeah. So if you can have face-to-face meetings, great. But if you can't, that's okay. Because it's the subject matter and the content that counts. I would love to be able to see people. I'd love to be able to, say, okay, it's lunch break, let's all go and eat. But that's not going to be possible. That's fine. We can cope in different ways now.
Okay, the final question, Leela, that I have for you is, do you have any words of wisdom to share with others in the industry at this time?
There are a lot of people who are feeling the weight of this, the uncertainty of it. And it is, God knows, it's an uncertain time. But hang in there. It is going to normalize, probably slowly, but it will normalize at some point. And you have to be ready for that period. I likened it to cancer treatment. So you have chemotherapy, which is tough and it's awful. And any one of us who's gone through that, we know that part is awful. But right after you finish the chemotherapy, there's this period of recovery, which is equally awful. And we are going to go into that. Right now, it's the chemo. We're undergoing that. It's tough as hell. But we're going to go through this period of recovery, which is not going to be easy as well. And we've got to get our mindsets ready for that. So be ready for that period of recovery, except that it's not going to be the same for a while until that vaccine, which is quite elusive right now. But in the meantime, get ready for that period of recovery. Use technology. I was a technology virgin. But you've just got to accept it, get out there and use it, and stay in touch with your clients. Now, whatever business you're in, this might be, something that we just have to get used to. When they say our new normal, it might be a new normal for a long time.
So it's about reinventing ourselves and the way we do business, the way we see the world, practically everything. It's really changed in a humongous way that we're all facing today.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you so much, Leela, for being with us. I really appreciate the time taken out today. So you've been listening to Leela Barrock of Leela Barrock and Associates speaking to Sheila Singam of Human Equation.